Hello ladies and gentlemen, how you doing today? My name is Bilify, and today we're doing another tier list because this tier list right here is over 3 months old and there is new things that needed to be added onto this list. So the last tier list had F, D+, C+, B+, and A+. The new list that we're going to have here is going to have all the way from F to S. Oh yes, we've added more slots because we're doing every single gun in the game this time. Not just the craftables, every single gun. So this is going to be quite a bit and a lot to take in. So remember, these are all my opinions. These are just kind of research I've done with the guns over time. So if you feel like I'm not giving your gun a correct kind of a grade, it's okay. You might have a different take on it. So we're going to start with all the shop weapons and move our way down. I think there's a total of 57 guns that we're going to have to get through. The only thing that's not on this list is the security tablet from Brute because, you know, the security tablet's not a gun. Now there is one thing that's not a gun, but I did add it in here. You'll see way later on. I'm going to try to go quick considering the fact that there's 57 guns and I can't spend too long on them. Alright, so the first gun that we have here is the Beretta, the starting pistol that we start with. Oh, the Beretta. So I've added a little tag to it so that we know because there's not a little shop icon. So this will help us remember. But we got the Beretta 87. Easily an F tier class, you know? There's no doubt about it. It's one of the starter guns. It's just not that good. Not meant to be. The first gun we can actually buy, or quote unquote buy, Desert Eagle. That's another F. Another beginning gun. They're not meant to be good. Coming in next, we have the Golden Desert Eagle. Yet again, just not that good of a weapon. So it's going right back up there, right down there in the F category. Coming in with the third gun, I know I have 4 on here, but I'm not considering Beretta the first gun on the list, so you're gonna hear kind of a difference from your screen in the pixels, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, just focus on the list. But the third gun is the Uzi, a faster fire rate with a little bit more ammo, but yet again, just a very weak gun and not something that's very viable, so it's just another early game weapon to help you get money. Is it better than the Beretta, Desert Eagle, and Golden Eagle? Of course. The next gun on the list, the Spaz 12. Yet again, another one of the spawn weapons that is, you know, just not there to be good, it's just there to help you get more money along the way. I would highly recommend that you sit there and earn yourself more money with the Uzi than the Spaz because it's got 6 bullets, it takes a long time to shoot, and it's just not worth it in the long run. The next gun on the list is the M16A4. The M16A4 is a 90-round mag, which makes it better than the other guns before, so we're actually going to drop this in the E category. It does a little bit more damage, and it's more viable for a low-level player, so I highly recommend that you use these on the lower tier maps. The M16A4. Once you get up to that, use the heck out of it. The next weapon on the list is the LX1. Now, the LX1 is pretty cool. It can one-shot all lower tier mobs and bosses like Mannequin Recool and Sonic.exe. It has a lower mag clip though, so you have to watch out for it, and it takes quite a bit to charge up and shoot, so you kind of have to watch how you shoot and where you shoot and what your surroundings are going to be if you need to reload. With how powerful it is, if you can land your skill shots, I'm actually going to list this as a D category, but again, you need to make sure you land your shots with the LX1 or it just will not work out for you. The next gun on the list is the classic AK-47. Such a great classic weapon to have. This one actually has an extended mag with 80 rounds in the mag. It's really good, but it's just not strong enough, so I have to classify this as a D class weapon. With gun number 8, we have ourselves the LX2, an advancement from the LX1. It's got 16 rounds compared to the LX1's 10 rounds, and does decent damage if you can actually land the headshot. It makes this usable. Think of it as like a marksman rifle, but not a marksman rifle. The LX2, I will definitely classify this in the D category. Following the LX2, of course, is the LX3. The LX3 has 50 rounds in the mag, does decent damage, but hitting headshots is what actually is going to make this gun viable. It has a long kind of a reload, so this is still going to be in the class of the D. Following the LX3, we have ourselves the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher has a 6.5 second reload timer, and it only has 1 shot. It one-shots all lower tier mobs and has good splash damage, but because of how long the reload timer is, I gotta put it in the D category. I can't make it up to C. It just takes way too long. But if you were in a raid party, oh, definitely recommend pulling this thing out and hitting some bosses. Following the rocket launcher, we have ourselves a fan favorite with the Gun Gun. The Gun Gun has a 3.3 second reload timer, and it takes 2 seconds per shot. It has very high damage, and it is something I highly recommend that you run around with because it's extremely useful against bosses. For that, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in the B category. And the very last gun in the shop that we can get our hands on is the Gatling Gun. The Gatling Gun has a 3.3 second reload timer for having 300 bullets in the mag, which is crazy. It takes 1 second for it to charge up before you can start shooting, and it has very good damage. This is a definite weapon that you are going to want to have to grind for because it is the first gun that is going to get into the A tier category. Moving on to one of the first guns we can find throughout the game, we have ourselves the RGB gun. It is an 8-round burst. It has 65k ammo, which which is ridiculous, but you'll never spend that amount unless you want to spend the next 7 hours trying to unload the clip. With it having an 8-round burst, it has about 1 second in between the bursts. One burst kills all lower tier mobs and bosses like Sonic and Mannequin and things of that nature. Pretty decent weapon here, so we're gonna have to stick it in the C market. For now, I'm gonna start sticking them over to the right so you can kind of see the map. I know we're probably gonna lose space, but that's okay. The next gun that we can find in the map is gonna be the dual LXDs. Very fun guns to use. The dual LXDs have unlimited ammo. They also 1 to 2 shot all lower tier mobs and bosses, and you can fire about 1 bullet a second with them. For that reason, I'm also gonna stick this into the C category. Next up on the list, we have the dual LX3s. They have 100 rounds in the mag, and it takes 6 seconds to reload them, which is terrible. It does make up for it with fast fire rate, but because of that 6-second reload timer and the not as much damage as you'd like it to be, it's still gonna be stuck in the C category. After the dual LX3s, we now find ourselves with the LXW. The LXW has unlimited ammo, and you can get off about 3 shots per second, which is pretty good. The range on this is terrible because you have to be up close and personal to actually do some damage. You can 1 to 2 shot most lower tier bosses, and you can basically 1-shot all the lower tier mobs. For its inconsistencies, I'm gonna stick this into the C category. The very next gun on the list is gonna be the water gun. The water gun has unlimited ammo. It has a 4 burst shot, which can shoot almost immediately after the last shot is shot out of the previous 4th burst. It has okay damage, so, you know, this is just kind of an all-around C-tiered weapon. Nothing too crazy. We now find ourselves with the Vulcan. The Vulcan has unlimited ammo. It has a 3-round burst shot with a 1-second charge rate to shoot it. It also has a 1-second shot delay between the next shot. It has good damage, but it just doesn't have enough to rank it a B, so it's gonna end up with every other gun so far in this category in C. We now move on to the Hex Spitter, one that I always call the Hex Splitter for some reason. The Hex Spitter has 30 rounds in its mag. It has, you know, okay-ish kind of damage, nothing too crazy, and it feels like the LX3 in a way. This gun just doesn't do it for me, so I'm gonna have to put this in the D category. Moving on to the Reaper Scythe. The Reaper Scythe has unlimited ammo. It can multi-kill if you aim it right. It has good range. It will 1 to 2 shot all lower tier bosses and mobs, and you can get about 1.5 swings a second. Everything combined with this weapon is awesome. This is gonna escape all the other weapons in this category and make it all the way to the B category. Next up, the Sheriff's Revolver. It has unlimited ammo. You can get off about 1 shot per second. The only thing wrong with this weapon is that it can be inaccurate. From long range, it can be very inaccurate, and from even close range, it can be kind of iffy sometimes. With that little discrepancy there, it keeps this from being a B category weapon, and it will end up with the rest of the family down into the C. We now have the next launcher on the list, the Red Missile Launcher. It has a 3-burst rocket with a 1-second charge to shoot and a 1 second to the next shot. It's a step up from the regular rocket launcher, but it's just nothing too crazy, so it's gonna hop into the C category. On to the 23rd weapon in this list, we have ourselves the Corrupted Rifle. The Corrupted Rifle has unlimited ammo. You can get off about 4 shots per second, which is really good. It has, you know, okay-ish damage, nothing too wild. The best thing that this gun does is it nullifies the Reaper's scythe throw, which is crazy. And because of that, and that alone, it keeps this in the C category. I know the hands, this might be a little controversial pick. People may want this into the B, but I don't like the damage on it, so I'm putting it in C. Coming in with the 24th gun, we have ourselves the Mech-O-Matic. Getting this gun can be a pain for a lot of people, but it's good if you kind of get it. It can actually, in the robot zone, it can 2-shot Guardian and Cyborg if you land the headshots. Those are the 2 biggest and baddest beings in the robot zone. It 1-shots all lower tier bosses and mobs. It has unlimited ammo. It has a 1-second charge shot and 2.5 seconds till the next shot. This can be very viable, but because, you know, it's kind of sluggish, I just can't put this as a B. I just really can't. It's good, just it doesn't hit the threshold for B for me, so I'm gonna stick this as a C. Next up on the list, we have ourselves the Burning Sword. The Burning Sword is perfect for movement around the map. Absolutely perfect. You want to get somewhere fast? Get the Burning Sword. Is it the fastest? Absolutely not, but it will get you places faster, so always great to grab this in the game. I would put this at a B, but the damage just isn't enough for the risk, so unfortunately, it's back to the C land. We now have our first craftable on the board, the Blue Missile Launcher, the 3rd launcher on the list. It's another step up from the red. It has a half-second charge rate to fire with a 3-round burst and a 7-second wait till the next shot. That's pretty decent with good damage, so I'm gonna have to stick this in the B category. The next gun on the list is the Solar Ray. I absolutely love this thing when I was at low level. I used this all the time. I would make sure I'd craft this first if I could. The Solar Ray has unlimited ammo, it has a very fast fire rate, it has good damage, great range, it makes it great for an all-around great craftable, making this the second A-tiered weapon on the list. The next set of shooters on our list are going to be the dual LXCs. With these guns, you can get off about 2 shots per second. They have unlimited ammo. The range is kind of medium-ish. You don't want to shoot these from afar. They're just not that good. When they're up close, they are deadly. A ton of damage can come from these. These are a solid weapon if you're fighting things that are close and personal, so kind of weird, but it's another A-tiered weapon for me. Love these things. Moving on to the next sword in the game, we have ourselves the Brass Sword. This is a great sword to use against shield enemies in like the RGB zone, or you could use this in the robot zone against Cyborg, or not Cyborg, maybe it was Cyborg, I don't know. But it's great in those zones there where they have things that have shields that protect them from projectiles, because the Raging Bull does not care. It will get up close and personal. The fact that this also does give you a momentum boost as well shoves this right into the A category. On to the second to last sword in the game, we have ourselves the Slasher. This is the fastest movement that you can get in the game. You can go and outbeat any sword in the game for sure. I've done it plenty of times. You can swing the fastest. Swinging faster, you can jump further in the long run. I would classify this as an S if the ability wasn't so hard to hit on like bosses or things that have higher tier health that you need to kind of stay away from. Against mobs, this will clear out a mob pack around you like that. But because of what I just said, I have to classify this as an A. Kind of like a rhythm of like, once I start doing one category, the whole category fills up and then I move on to the next. The next craftable on the list, we have ourselves the Acid Gun. The Acid Gun to me is just one of those kind of normal craftables that does good damage. It's easier to get, but it's just nothing that's crazy in my opinion. Decent damage, better up close, you know, it has unlimited ammo, which is great. It's just kind of like a solid B-tiered weapon. Doesn't hit the A mark. With the 30-second gun in our list, we have ourselves the Obsidian Gun. This gun has a 1-second charge rate to a 5-round burst, and it's 1 second between the next shot. It has decent damage, but just not enough to kick it into A-tier category, so this is gonna be a B. Following over to gun 33, we have ourselves the Spitfire. It has a very fast fire rate, with a fast reload, a larger mag capacity, and also does fire tick damage. It's one of those guns that you can comfortably walk around the map with, and I think that you can definitely viably put this into the A tier category. The next gun on the list is the dual revolvers. These are fast firing, hard hitting, and more accurate than the regular revolver. It's everything the revolver is, but a lot better. With that being said, it's gonna go into the A category. Next on the list, we have ourselves the Screamer. The Screamer has a fast fire rate. It nullifies the Reaper Scythe, which is fantastic. It has a little bit of a splash damage, which is awesome, and it has the hands ability. With all of that and good damage, definitely, it's without a doubt an A-tiered weapon. We are officially run out of space. Okay, so I've come up with a plan. Since I know there's no more F-tiered weapons, I've decided to make A continued, so some more A weapons can hop down here. Next on the list, we have ourselves the Cleansed Rifle. Aside from the White Hole Generator, this is the only healing gun in the game that's not to be paid for. The one downside to it, though, is to heal yourself, you have to heal somebody else in the game. And with that being said, this puts this right down to a C, unfortunately. I love the gun, it's just not as usable as it could be. So after the Cleansed Rifle, we have ourselves the Shield Bearer. The Shield Bearer has unlimited ammo with about 5 shots per second. You can get a regenable shield off of this, which is great. It has okay-ish damage, nothing too crazy for being a mech craftable, but it does have good range. I really wanted to put this at S, I really did, but it's just a low A gun. Nothing too spectacular. Coming in with the 38th weapon on the list, we have ourselves the Laser Scythe. One of the strongest weapons in the game if you can land the laser perk that it comes with. Incredible scythe to get. If you are going to get a mech craftable, 1,000,000% recommend you get yourself the Laser Scythe. This is actually going to be the first weapon on the list that is S tiered. We finally have something in the S category. Following right behind the Laser Scythe, we have another scythe here. We have ourselves the Impaler. This has great range, it has great damage, it has the ability to nullify the Reaper, and the ability itself does great damage as well. This again again, is gonna be an S-tiered weapon. Back-to-back S's. The next weapon in the list is not really a weapon, it's more of something that just kind of helps you track people, implying the name the Tracker. It's a solid kind of a thing to have in hardcore because it will help you find things in the dark, but it's more just to kind of see where everyone and everything is on the map. And with that being said, no real viability, and I'm gonna have to stick it at a D. The next thing on the list, which I'm afraid to see what category this goes into, is the Deep Sea Trident. The Deep Sea Trident has unlimited ammo, got great range, it has decent damage, it just doesn't have enough for it to be able to move up to A, because it's just kind of it's a weapon that's there. There's nothing that's crazy. I'm gonna have to stick this at a B. Down in the description below, you will see all of the little tags that I have for every single weapon in the game. That was the last regular craftable in the game. Now we are into the GamePass Craftables. This is the Dual LXX. With the Dual LXX, it shoots about 7 rounds per second, which is pretty good. It has good knockback, it has great range, it does decent damage. I wanted to put this at an A, but I just couldn't really find myself to do it, so it's gonna be a B tiered weapon. We have come upon the Freeze Ray. The Freeze Ray is by far, hands down, my favorite weapon in the game. It is just so OP, I love it. It has unlimited ammo, you can get about 1.25 shots per second, it has crazy high damage, and it has the ability to knock back and freeze enemies, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. For that reason itself, this is an S-tiered weapon without a doubt. Next on the list here, we have ourselves the Rager Gun. The Rager Gun I also love. It has a 35 round mag with about 3.5 second reload timer. You can get about 1 to 2 shots for a Rager on mobs, maybe 1 shot on really low tiered mobs. If you hit the headshot, it does decent damage with the bullet itself. The Ragers are faster compared to the zombies, and they do great damage themselves. There's so many uses for this gun here that I just have to put this at an S-tiered category. It was hovering A, but it's definitely an S. And we have arrived to the White Hole Generator, the 45th weapon on the list. The White Hole Generator is the strongest gun in the game. Not only is the White Hole Generator the strongest gun in the game, it can actually heal you if you walk through the little orb that sits after you shoot something. Extremely viable weapon to have if you spend your Robux on it. It is definitely, without a doubt, an S-tiered weapon. Following the White Hole Generator, we have the Black Hole Generator, and the only difference between the Black Hole and the White Hole Generator is not really much. One heals and one has a better black hole that sucks enemies into it better, I think. I'm not sure if the black hole does or not, but I'm assuming it does. Either way, S-tiered weapon. Coming in with the 47th gun on the list, we have ourselves the Zombify Gun. It's like the Rager Gun, but just a little bit less. 35 round mag with almost a 4-second reload. Zombies do good damage, not as much as the Ragers. Takes about 1 to 2 hits on base mobs for a zombie to spawn. It's good, just not A-worthy though. You would think that because the Rager's an S-tier, it'd go to A, but it's a little bit less. I have to stick this at a B. I don't know. It doesn't ring an A for me. Next on the list, we have ourselves the Freeze Ray. This has 35 rounds in the mag with almost a 4-second reload timer. It has good range, but the damage is pretty bad. You're gonna want to shoot this and then have another weapon to shoot the other zombies or whatever you're shooting with, because the damage just isn't there with this. With that being said, this is not a B-tiered weapon. It's a C-tiered weapon. So, with that being said as well, we're gonna have to find somewhere to stick this because the C category's filled up. I'm gonna kind of keep it weird here, but there's only one more E-tiered weapon on the list, and that would be the LXX. The LXX has unlimited ammo for a 5-round burst. It takes half a second to charge, and it also takes 2 total seconds to get those 5 rounds out. It has poor damage to fire ratio, but it has good knockback. It's just not something that is viable in the game. It's more of something that you're gonna want to buy to get the other craftable. Nothing too crazy on this gun here, and for that reason, it goes into the E category. Now, the only reason I did this gun ahead, this is the 50th gun, and we're only on the 48th gun, is because we need to create a C continued, and I figured, well, we might as well do it after the E. So I will be back after I create that. Okay, so we have C continued down next to the E category because the E category is all finished up. So we will go ahead and stick ourselves the Freeze Ray down into the C category. Next on the list, we have ourselves the Plasma Gun. The Plasma Gun has unlimited ammo with a 1.25 second shot rate. It has the best knockback in the game and will 1 to 2 shot all lower tiered bosses and mobs. Great weapon to have, absolutely great. For that reason, I'm gonna have to stick it at a B. And unfortunately for me, we're gonna have to do another continued because there is no room to stick it. Alright, so we have the B continued in the D category. I know this is getting very confusing very fast. If you've stuck through the whole video, then you kind of understand where this is going. we will stick our plasma gun right here in the first category. Next on the list, we have ourselves the dual Uzis. They have 90 rounds in the mag, which is pretty cool, with a 3-second reload timer, which is not too good, not terrible, just kind of there. They have the fastest fire rate in the game, which can be used to their advantage. This is a C-tiered weapon if you are hitting your crits with the headshots. Look at that, the whole C category filled to the brim. Coming in with the 52nd gun of this list, we have ourselves the laser shotgun. The laser shotgun has unlimited ammo. You can get off about a round per second, and it can multi-kill if you hit it correctly. It's better at close range, you know, because it is a shotgun, of course, and I think that it is actually good enough to be in the B tier. It's a pretty viable weapon. After the laser shotgun, we have ourselves the golden M16A4. This has unlimited ammo with a 4-round fast burst with a decent fire rate. It has decent damage, it has good range, it's almost a B, but damage isn't quite there, so it's just gonna be a C. Now to what I was saying earlier about this not being a gun. We have ourselves the banana peel. The banana peel is a great troll weapon against monsters like Nightmare, one of the only things that can actually troll Nightmare. You could actually use this in a viable situation if you are being caught in a pinch and you're being chased by something. You can throw down a banana peel and make something fall behind you and you can get away. It does have some uses to it, and for that reason, I'm gonna stick this at a C. On to the final 3 weapons of this list, the Halloween items. We have ourselves the orange LX3. It's just like the regular LX3, but does more damage and has a little orange death effect, which is pretty cool. But other than that, it's just a C-tiered weapon. It does get that bump up from D to C because of the damage boost. With the 56th gun of the list, and the second to last, we have ourselves the orange gun. It's like the regular gun, but better. It has a 3.3-second reload timer with 2 seconds per shot. Nothing really more needed to say on this. This is an A-tiered weapon. And with the last weapon in the game, we have ourselves the Crescendo. This is the second fastest movement sword in the game and the longest lunge, actually. I did a test on that. It beats other swords by like a tile. It has great damage for being a sword, and it has knockback to it. If you actually swing early on an enemy and then touch it, the enemy won't get hit, but it will get knocked back, which is really cool. I really wanted to put this as an S, I really did, but I think it's gonna end up an A. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. With 3 different continueds, we have ourselves all 57 weapons in the game. There's actually 58 items you can use. The only thing excluding this list is the security tablet, but you can't kill anything with a security tablet. You can't do anything besides look at the cameras. You could argue and say the tracker shouldn't even be on this list, but you know, it's still a weapon that can be fired. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think about this list. Tell me if you think something got snubbed into a category it should have been higher, lower, whatever. I'd love to see your input on this. I know there was a lot of things that were talked about on the last list. And remember, this is my opinion. This is not full facts. This is just my opinion from playing the game. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope every single one of you have an amazing rest of your day or night whenever you are watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Later.